Light laughter and lattes. My name is Geri Habstritt, and my co-host Patty Peterson would like to welcome you all here to this beautiful Wednesday. What are we? First Wednesday? No. Second Wednesday. Second Wednesday.
111 today.
Yes, we are 1, 1, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Huh. Okay. That is interesting. And there's a lot more
It's
interesting
kind of
things.
blast off, yeah.
Yeah. And that's going to bring us to our topic about restoring balance. Because if you are all being aware, I mean, I'm sure you are constantly running into yourself or an aspect of yourself since this retrograde started, especially the pre-phase. And so that's what our show is all about, is restoring balance, because it has everything to do with this retrograde right now. And so before we get into that, I want to welcome everyone at Oneness Talk Radio, Facebook, and YouTube. So, jump on in if you're listening, say hi in the chat. We love to have you here and know you're here, and you can kind of share your little retrograde stories. So if you don't know, like if you're listening to this for the first time and you don't know anything about a retrograde and what retrogrades do, Patty, you want to tell everyone a little bit about retrogrades?
Yeah, well, it's a Mercury retrograde, correct? Mercury is more about communication. It can be about the electronics. And when it's not moving forward, we get to often relook, redo, restore, realign, repeat. What else, Jer? All those RE words.
Anything with the revisit, revisit and revisit.
Yes, true. Yes, and we witness it all around us and within us on all levels. And It started sometime in December, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I
powerful full moon on the 7th, and I'm sorry, I don't know exactly when it went went into Mercury retrograde, but I know most of the month I felt it.
Right. And it's an energetic influence on the planet based on the planets and Mercury. And there's always a pre-phase, which is like a period of time before it goes direct. And then there's a post-phase, in which there's a time after it goes direct. So there's like a pre-energy, like it's coming, and the post-energy is a little bit of a hangover. And so it still is affecting us, and each of our retrogrades have had a different little energy twist to them.
Yes.
Yeah. This one was gigantic. I mean, it was right before we went into the new year, 2023, which is a year of the 7. And the year of the 7 is all about the master within, the master's journey. So it's going to be a mastery year for everyone. And so it's like the universe said, okay, guys, I'm bringing in this retrograde to help you heal all the BS before you head into your mastery moments, so that it'll be easier for you. And so the pre-phase was like a wallop, and it was big. And so it'll go through and it'll help you heal every part of you that's out of balance. And so do you want to share what that might look like, or any of your experiences?
Well, yeah, I mean, it can be on all the energy bodies, correct? I know for myself, one of the first signs was my physical body. I repeated and went into an old pattern where there was an imbalance in the past. And of course, that physical body was being impacted by an imbalance, perhaps on the mental, emotional, spiritual energies. And so then what comes forward for us on each one of those levels? What's showing up in our life around something from the past to come up to heal, or another aspect of it, so to speak, right?
Yeah, right. So, ideally, we are all in perfect balance. So that's the goal. When you're perfect balance, you're centered. And you're also, heart is open, but you're also in your power. So if your heart is wide open and you're not in your power, you are giving yourself away. You're often a doormat and you're not in balance. If you're all in your power and your heart is not open, you're trying to control everything
Mhm.
and you have no heart. And so you're out of balance. So a perfect balance is, you know, our universe naturally wants to bring us into balance. It does what it does with the moons, the new moons, the full moons, the retrogrades, to naturally support us into coming into balance. And so in perfect balance, the heart is open, your power center is there. You're not living in the past and you're not living in the future. You're perfectly present, heart open and in your power, right? So what did your pre-phase look like? It was there to show you where you're out of balance. And it might show up in funny ways. Like I know, um, boy, did I shed a lot of tears in the pre-phase.
Yeah.
No,
Many people had that theme. Many people. Mhm.
yeah, it was so powerful. I mean, for me, because I just, you know, bought a new place to live. And so that's the perfect time to clean out the old. And so I
Mhm.
was going through old things, giving things away, and going through old photographs and old videos and watching them. And it triggered all kinds of healing from the past, lots of should have, would haves, could haves, you know, things like that. And those are energies that keep you, you know, stuck in the past and they actually keep you out of balance. And likewise, any anger you might have, which is often a judgment behind that anger. And those things will show up as, well, in my experience, they show up as stuff just not working out for you.
Mm.
So, and I don't know, it may have showed up for you. It sounds like you had a very physical experience.
Very, very. Body, and by that, even, being the medical intuitive, I pay so much attention to that as far as like digestion and nothing like absorbing. And then realizing on a deeper level how much more I was giving away and not restoring myself as much, falling back into an old pattern and not, what point does it have to get to? And then we go, oh, wow, I'm slipping back into an old pattern.
Mhm.
And sometimes, yeah, it can show up pretty overtly in a physical symptom, feeling exhausted. And then you add in, all the other energies, right, Geri? I mean, it was going into all those holidays
Right.
and that planetary thought body of everybody with a lot of stuff going on besides our own. And I think that added an impact.
Oh, sure, sure. Yeah, all the energies coming together play a role in it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
for me, it was a lot of, you know, running into things like nothing working out. I don't know how many packages I ordered from
Yeah.
Amazon, and they either didn't show up, or they showed up wrong, or they showed up broken, or I mailed them back and they said they didn't get the return, or they did get the return and refunded me and then later said, "No, I guess we didn't get the return." I mean, there was like something wrong with everything.
Okay.
And I had handyman come here to put the internet in, and it didn't work out. Well, first I had the internet company do it, and they didn't do it right. Then I had a handyman come and fix it, and he misunderstood, and I got way overcharged, which is an imbalance if you're being overcharged, right? Imbalance is being overcharged. What I'm trying to say is you're not a victim, you created this. So I called in that my energy called in that experience because there's a part of me that was out of balance. And so I called forth an imbalance in being paid. So I paid him way too much and he didn't get the job done. He didn't do it at all, matter of fact.
Mm.
And so, and then I ordered this, what I thought was this gorgeous, huge, big desk, and it was a lot of money, $1,000. And pieces of it were all out of balance. It didn't align right. The drawers didn't open. One of the drawers didn't work at all. The bearings weren't working. And so I had to go back to the company and tell them about it. And they sent me a
Mhm.
new piece. And the handyman had to come back 2 more times. And I'm still in the process of restoring that.
Mhm.
Had several plane tickets. Let me see, my first flight to Mexico got canceled. My second one was delayed 3 hours. My next one was delayed 3 hours. My next one was delayed 3 hours. Three, three, three. And three is usually about what's presenting in the moment. So, you can tell a lot about, I see a lot of threes during retrogrades.
Interesting. Yeah.
Threes almost always come
That's
up for me.
interesting. So then you think solar plexus kind of too, and it's like witnessing you, I mean, had to claim your empowerment to go back to the companies where things were not up to par too, right? And or the workers, and really be in that empowered state, not the doormat or the victim, or right.
Exactly, right.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
this is very indicative. It's like a mini experience of my divorce experience. You know,
Mhm.
where I had to go through these experiences, claim what was mine and claim what was my
Yes.
half,
Yes.
right? Or what I thought I deserved, and then when I didn't get what I thought was I should have gotten, I wanted to blame the judge's fault, right? And the outer judge is a reflection of my inner judge, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything was a reflection, and so that's exactly what I had to do, and then each time I would go back to court would be another opportunity to fill out those affidavits and
Mm.
say, "Okay, this is mine, and this is what happened, and this is not right, and I am not a victim, and this is what I'm claiming," right? So I'm having to do a mini version of all of that again, like sending pictures of the drawers that aren't working, sending pictures of the ball bearings missing, going back to the company, and so you all may have to be doing that. And I invite you, if there are things that have been out of balance for you, and I'm going to give even examples of relationships where I sat during this retrograde and sent letters that of people I hadn't talked to for years and said, I appreciate the part you played in my life. Even though things didn't end great, there was a lot of great years. And that helps to restore balance. And I had beautiful responses with that. And my whole life got better energetically just because of that. And it wasn't a fake, I'm going to do this to restore balance. It was an honest, this is how I'm feeling
Yeah.
inside, and I need to do this to feel good about me and my life.
Mhm.
If something were to happen to any of these people, I would feel bad inside that I didn't get to say that. So
Very
it
hard.
was,
Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, exactly. And
Mhm.
so I'm finding myself having to do that right now. Like, I think I have got 10 emails to different companies and things where things been out of balance, and I'm having to show them, this is, and really it's around products and money that they owe me, and
Okay.
having to go claim these pieces. And I know from experience that as soon as the retrograde releases, usually all of that comes back to me. The balance comes back. The balance is restored. But
Especially okay.
go ahead.
I mean, you're being very aware of it, right? And noticing that. And then I did have a question I wanted to go back to, unless you want to finish your stream right there first.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Okay. So as you're saying, you're spending all this time going back to these companies and saying this isn't right and this is what. And I want to know, I'm curious about, because what I witnessed of myself when I had to do that with some things here, the car and the phone, and is, what is our mental or our thought or our mind during that? Because it can take up a lot of time. Now, time again, is that, how attached to time are we, and how are we looking at it as far as it's, just of this dimension, and the different thoughts. Because for me, there was so much going on to continually pull back, and I kept going, what is the still center for me of this peace, no matter all this is going on around me? Just to
Right.
sit there and go and see these, the solutions flowing. But it took so much to just sit and hold that peaceful balance with all of that. So can you share a little bit about how your perception of going through that is?
Well, it's funny because I felt like I was pedaling, and not moving, during that retrograde, because you're right. I had to do all these things for the new house, but like nothing was working. So I was having to redo. And it got to the point where I had to put my energy on the things that mattered the most.
Yeah.
And so the airplane tickets meant a lot. So I don't care if you cancel my plane ticket and you're telling me there isn't another flight. I know that I'm going to Mexico. And so, and I did. I got up and I'm like, I know I can make this happen. And I made it work. And so now, of course, I'm having to go back to the airlines and say, okay, you owe me for this and that and whatever. But I picked my battles. And it was so funny that it was even to the point where when I was at one of the airports, I ordered a almond milk latte and they gave me a soy milk latte. And I said, thank you. It was like, of course this is going to happen, but I'm not going to put any energy because I don't really care. I'll drink a soy milk latte.
Is this really worth my energy at this time? Yes.
And then I got on the plane and I'm like, I'm going to have wine. And I wound up in a first class seat because that's just how it had to happen.
Lovely.
And I'm like, I'm going to take advantage of this. And so she asked me if you'd like wine, red, white, or sparkling. I said, I'd have red, please. And she kindly brought me a glass of white wine. And I said, thank you. Thank you. It's wine. At this point, it's wine.
Good point. Yeah. To pick your battles. I like that phrasing even, as far as how much energy am I willing to expend here for certain things. And may I find my peace. I will savor this white wine.
I actually giggled drinking it because, and then I was developing this strategy. Like when I get to Mexico, I'm going to order the opposite of everything I want. I get to my first meal. I'm like, I really want this. I think I'm going to pick this. And we're just going to hope I'll get what I want. But it's funny because everything then when I did get there and I was around other people, it all just flowed and worked beautifully. But it was really quite comical. And now I'm sitting down and really taking care of all the pieces and sending the letters and being mindful of my energy to not be in victim mode or anger mode. I'm very aware that what's healing or coming to balance in me is any anger around the past, which is judgments about myself or things that I've done or things that I haven't done. And those judgments are being reflected as things not working out. And so I'm aware that I created those experiences to come towards me, but yet I'm still aware enough that I need to take action and be in my power and go back to these people. And I'm pretty sure everything will work its way out. It always has in the past, but take the action,
take the action. And perhaps that outcome may not be how our mind conceives or perceives. It may be even better, right?
Right.
That just, your intention behind it, and then open to how the receiving and the balance comes in. So often if our mind is so much, it's got to look this way, well, something may come up to give us opportunities to look at that too.
Well, right. And Patty, that was my whole 7-year divorce experience. Right. And that was about mastery. And each time I would go to court, I had in my mind what balance looked like. Right.
Yeah.
In my mind, this is what balance should be like. I should receive half of this, half the money, half, 3/4 of the kids. My goodness, I raised them and took care of them the whole time, Whatever my mind balance looked like is what I thought should happen at the end of each court experience. And then when it didn't turn out, I would okay, I didn't look hard enough. I didn't forgive enough. How can I manipulate my energy for the next time to create the balance that I'm looking for? And I would use my mind to try figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
As opposed to allowing my soul to guide me through it And I was trying to, let's say, force the balance.
Yeah.
A- and
Good
the
point.
universe
Mhm.
will automatically restore balance,
Mm.
whether in everyone. So if there are people that so-called did me wrong, at some point that balance will be restored to them, whether I make it happen the way I think it should
Right.
look.
Right. We may not see it or know about it or any of that, but
Right.
just trust that. Yeah. Mhm.
Right. Yeah. So there was 7 years for me of trying to force that balance, make that balance happen, claim that balance, and really push the balance, as opposed to, really just taking a look at maybe doing the forgiveness and, hey, I did a good job and maybe it didn't look the way I want, but I'm going to move forward on my dreams and keep creating, you know.
That's mhm,
And I
that's
had experiences where I even created a whole nother trip to court just because my mind was so focused on it. I
mhm.
created an experience that didn't even need to be.
Okay. Yeah. So, one of the practices then, as you're saying, ways you can, is it reminds me of that going to the 10,000 feet, so to speak,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
Because we can tend to be so hard on ourselves
Absolutely.
and keep trying to, figure, and that's what's really been helping me a lot lately too, is that let's lift above and look down. And so often you can tap more into that, for me, that compassion and see from that higher perspective, what is it that's needing balance here, fulfillment, centering, and in a more clear way than the same old pattern.
Yeah. No, no, absolutely. I think um, all of our experiences are begging a higher awareness, or, or,
Hmm.
or a witness of them. And as I was reflecting on my whole entire court experience as like a preparation to get me ready, for this year, for this year of
Hmm.
the seven. My master soul code's a seven. So it's like
Oh, yes.
I've been
Yes.
spending 56 years, bumping my head into everything, learning how to master it so that I would be prepared for this year now.
The now.
And thinking about how I thought all the actions that I took were supposed to give these results, and how I had perceived myself to be a failure. I failed this time. I failed this time. I failed this time.
Mhm.
Each time I went, I felt like I failed. I did
Mhm.
something wrong. And looking back, one entire experience was just about um, releasing the habit of the pain of the pain.
Ah, yes.
A
Yes.
whole other experience was about being addicted to the drama, being addicted to the head and recreating by thinking too much. I mean, each experience had a whole oversight to it that I didn't have awareness of at that time until I
That's
went through the experience.
right. There's the gift. We go through it. And in that, I'm so reminded that, wow, Jerry, as you walk through that and gain the gifts and all that you developed in you from it, that you're healing so many more,
Mm,
right?
right.
So many more. I just like see that in your energy of going, you were clearing the way for others.
The path. Yeah, I'm
Mhm,
feeling that now as you're saying that too. Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah. And one of the greatest things that I heard in the middle of all that was from one of my teachers. So my teachers are Shri Ram Khan, Master Lady Kira Ra. And one of the emails I received from one of my teachers was, it matters not the result of your divorce, like what the papers say from the judge, whether you think you succeeded or not,
Mhm.
that the results don't matter. The fact is that you just went through it.
Ah,
And I had thought all the time that it was about, um, I'm a failure if I don't create what my vision is of how it's supposed to look, or if I didn't restore the balance on paper. He's like, no, 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 that's not the point. The point is that you just went through and claimed.
that's such a beautiful reminder for anybody listening that may be going through something. I just feel that's very powerful, Jerry. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, yeah, because I remember thinking as I was going through that if I didn't succeed, there was a part of me that wasn't gonna succeed at ascending either. Like, I tied the 2 together,
Okay. Mhm.
you know,
Mm,
and no, it was like I was wrong in all that. That
right.
was
And that's
and I
even a judgment, right?
exactly,
How many
right,
layers, and in these higher energies we're in and consciousness, that we're seeing these, we're looking deeper, that deeper awareness even of these areas there. I'm going, I didn't even realize I was judging myself
right.
the first time through, second, and then you go, oh, even this, oh, I had an expectation, something needed to look a certain way.
Mhm,
That's a judgment.
mhm.
Yeah, yeah. So it just feels like this, this fine tuning, that polishing, that pearl of brilliance coming from the cycles through.
Right, right, yeah, 'cause, and reflecting is which I did a lot of on this during this retrograde, really about all of that because it
Mhm.
took so many years of my life and it involved everything that I cared about the most. You
Yeah.
know, it worked really hard for businesses and hard for a savings for me someday and loved
Mhm.
my kids like nothing else, right? So
Mhm.
it really the divorce encompassed everything that mattered to me for the most part, except for my soul, right?
Right. Right.
Everything in this physical planet that mattered to me.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And reflecting on all of that too, there was this great compassion about the awareness I had at the time. Like, you truly, we're all only doing the best we can based on our
A
consciousness.
consciousness at that time. Exactly. That's another beautiful reminder of, forgiving ourselves, because we really truly did to the best that we could with that consciousness and the stressors in our life and all the pieces.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are you seeing, Patty? Any other things that you're seeing, regarding balance right now in this retrograde and
Well, and then being in that awareness, the beauty and the what comes out of, as we're bringing in balance, are we then really seeing that we, what's coming forward? I mean,
Mhm.
I know when I was going through those struggles, and then, I mean, all this beauty started showing up, or, different miracles and gifts. And it's going, okay, this is, progress is being made, is what I was thinking, or seeing.
Right.
And, you may not see it immediately, like in the physical body or something, but these reflections of, are we seeing what all is here? That,
Right.
mhm,
I
mhm,
know, and I saw that too as well because I was giving a lot of things. I had some really great, children's things that I still had. I had a Wii and a Kindle and
mhm.
a Blu-ray disc player, some things like that. So I gave a bunch of these things away to people in the neighborhood who were, um, saying that they wouldn't be able to have a Christmas this year because they got laid off or whatever. Money was
Beautiful.
hard. And so I just, put things in bags and handed out things for a couple of days. And immediately, I had my neighbor, say, "Well, you're leaving for a week. Let me take your dog. I really want to take your dog." And I'd only just barely known him. I mean, because I just moved here, so I'd only spent, maybe 10 minutes talking to him, and he's already offering to take my pet for me. And so he did that. It turned out beautifully, and it saved me $250, $300 at a kennel. And so just the other day, and this is something little, but it's so much fun even when the little things happen because it's like the universe, um, I don't have words for it. So one of the things I've been needing is, those little, washing machine bags that you can put your lingerie or your
Yes,
things
absolutely.
like that are
Mesh
delicate.
bags that you
The
throw
mesh
in. Yep.
bags? Yes. Okay, I've got one, but I'm like, "I need more of these, I need more of these." So for the past, I don't know, 6 months, I've been saying I need more of these, and I keep going to the store and I forget to get them,
Uh-huh.
forget.
Uh-huh.
So yesterday I go to Trader Joe's, and as I'm checking out, he hands me 2 mesh bags. he says, now these are produce bags, but you can use them for laundry bags if you want. And I'm like, oh my God. I was so excited that this came back to me, because for me, it's a whole trip to the store and walking how
Right.
far, and maybe they don't have it, and going to another store. And it's like, oh my God, the universe brought me exactly what I needed. And it showed up at Trader Joe's.
In a new way, a way I wasn't even thinking. And
Yes.
thank you. You gave that to me because I have some of those right now, and I also need the same thing. So thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just so funny. Like, it leaves this grin on my face. Like, it's like the perfect thing came to me, and it's not even an expensive thing, but it could be a high energy thing for me to have to seek out and get on my own.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't have exact things coming to my mind right now, but I know there was a few things in this last week, and things showed up, and I had to giggle, going, "Oh, I just had that intention briefly, and this showed up," and you just have to sit there and giggle.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you. When we least expect, stay aware and open.
Yeah. Exactly. And I feel like, so tomorrow is the last day of the retrograde. So the Mercury goes direct. Is that right? Am I
I
saying that
believe
right?
on Friday, there is Mars effect expands, the Jupiter conjunction.
Tomorrow
I-
it releases. It's the last day
Okay.
tomorrow.
Okay.
So there's going to be a little bit of a hangover energy after it. So I
Mhm.
think we should start seeing the return of the balance,
Mhm.
and you know take actions on things that were out of balance if you can. That's I've discovered, even things that you think aren't even a possibility, I go after, and I've had so many miracles that way, receiving things back that I never even expected. But because of my experience of 7 years going to court, having to claim affidavit after affidavit, I want proof. They need pictures. They need evidence. Right? And
Right.
so I'm very good now when it comes to things out of balance. Like, here's the facts. Here's your photos. Here's what you need.
Yeah.
And try to stay neutral. Like your attorney would for you. Keep the
Mhm.
emotions out of it.
Mhm.
And I've had really good luck and surprises getting back things that I never even expected in
And
beautiful.
yes, and the piece that I guess was a theme for me and has been is in that vein, the receiving. Balance is giving and receiving in balance, and that's in several of our chakras too. And
Right.
and so you're portraying that in that instance, saying it. And for me, it was being more aware of how am I receiving, and maybe it's to a new way or a new level than before,
Mhm.
because we are ever evolving and ever refining. And what was sustaining and balanced before can be very different now.
Mhm.
And where are there ways that perhaps I was leaking energy and overdoing and overgiving that wasn't aware of, and in a new way looking at.
Right. Well, I think sometimes we put self-imposed limits on what we can receive.
Absolutely.
So we
Absolutely. That's
so we can stop ourselves. Like, we can shut the receiving out based on our limitations that we place on our vision and on our ability to receive. So
right. And a theme, I was listening to another teacher, and they called them illusions of inheritance. And so when you sit there and looking at some of these around, what did we take on as beliefs around, and like things like, did I have to orient my values and preferences to others, and my deservingness? And so that was very helpful to stop and look at some of those, what feed our level of receiving, perhaps. The belief we had in, I can receive and live to this level, but then picturing, even above and beyond, it's kind of like, whoa, what unconscious illusionary, beliefs may be under there.
right. I'm smiling as you're saying this, because you just reminded me of a little story. So as I've been busy still giving away. Even today, I went and hauled a whole car full over to the Idaho Youth Ranch and brought a bunch of lovely things. At the exact same time I was doing this, I get a text from a girlfriend whose mother just passed away, and she's got all of her things. But apparently her mother was of like Cherokee or some Native
Right.
American descent.
Mhm.
And she's
Mhm.
got this Native American purse that was made from the tribe. And this girlfriend saw me out this weekend and saw my purse from Ecuador, and she's like, this purse is you. This purse is you. I have to give it to you. So literally while I was driving to give away, she sends me a text and say, Geri, here's the purse. Do you want it? And I thought, interesting, I'm being given a purse. Well, what does
Purse.
our purses do, right?
Signify. Right. What's the, yep. Mhm.
And I started connecting with the energy of this purse because my
Mhm.
first thought is, I don't want any more old stuff, right? That's my first thought. I'm like,
Mhm.
no, no, wait a minute. I'm in a new spot and I'm receiving now. And she
Mhm.
connected with me and my indigenous nature and care and concern for all of that, right?
Mhm.
And then I took a moment to really look at this thing and feel the energy, and I'm like,
Mhm.
"Oh my goodness." So, and it was funny, I sent her a little message back. So was your mother abundant? Is this an abundant purse?
There you go. That's beautiful. That's a lovely story. I want to look at the chat and
Yeah,
thank you, that Geri, for sharing that. You don't smack a baby or judge it for crying, as we were talking about the judgments, right? We are
right.
babies. We are babies, baby.
Mhm.
And yes, I certainly in my work with clients and out and about have had a lot of people noticing moods. Um, and one thing I know is to, as a mentor had shared, to stop and say, is this mine? Or am I picking up something from the planetary thought body and using a clearing container, and can we sit with it and see what's there? I also am seeing a lot of people are telling me right now that they're having a lot of cleansing in these upper chakras, the sinuses, the head, and so that tells me that we're swimming in some higher, lifting to cleanse some of this. So I too, I felt, yeah, some moodiness and like free flowing anxiety was another one that's out there. I noticed.
Right, right. Well, and the seventh dimension is open now, very clearly it's open.
Mhm.
And so that's already lifting consciousness. And so
Mhm.
if people are lifting into that, it is going to clear the heads for sure. These upper chakras are going to
Mhm.
be experiencing a lot. I'm seeing that around, around me and people getting this Mercury retrograde was such a massive cleanse that more people were getting what maybe COVID, but maybe not.
Yeah.
I had a son too who's like got up and was throwing up for 2 days,
Mhm.
and been hearing a lot of massive cleansing
Yes.
stories from
Yes.
people. So not only a giving away kind of cleansing, but also well, they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
If you give away your garbage,
Each
you're
effect. Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
it out of you.
Yeah.
Or if you can get it out of you, you're going to want to go give away your garbage either way.
Absolutely. Yeah. Um, those are the certain themes that we're noticing. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. So it's good. I mean, Mercury retrogrades are fantastic. It's doing its job well. Just like all the people in our life that have triggered us, they're doing their jobs well.
Yes, 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 yes. And so, what I'm witnessing too is being more aware, conscious, in tune to the words we are using, right?
Yeah.
And what is our intention as we go forward? That they're so powerful right now.
Oh, very much so.
Mm.
And and not even just intention, but the energy behind everything you do. For an example, some of these items that I gave away to families that needed, weren't going to have a Christmas or whatever, I received a response back, especially from one of the families who was very grateful and then said, now you've inspired me to go through all of my old things as well and start giving to people who need more.
Yeah.
And that was not my intention
Right.
when I gave the item. My intention was to help, but with that came the energy of what I was doing. And matter of fact, that energy was in every item I gave away, right? So everyone who picked up an item received the energy of, let's clear out the old and give to others who need,
And pass
So
it on.
so
Yes.
yeah, everything. So be mindful, right? The clearing, like the container practice probably is
Yes.
really valuable at this time.
Very. I had a client today, and it's only his second visit with me, and he shared how he had learned the container practice, and on New Year's Eve, this is all new to him. He's just waking up, and young, beautiful man, and he met with a group of people, and together he had them all do the container about the end of the year. And I just get teary-eyed. I was just like, wow. I mean, there was a group of friends, and he just was him and shared this beautiful cleansing practice about, their intention of clearing for the past year with the container. And I loved it. It was like, look at that. Boom, boom, boom. That ripple effect. We're all, that
Yes.
stone in the pond.
Yeah. Never underestimate the power of your energy, whether it's a care for another or a smile you give another or a gift you give another or your,
Right.
practice you share, right? You never ever know.
That's exactly it. Sometimes it comes back and we'll hear a story and say, what you did way back here really impacted me. And not that we're attached to that, but we've definitely had that happen, haven't we? Somebody will come back and say what a difference it made. And so never underestimate the value of your love and your sincerity and presence.
Right. Yeah. And I'm thinking of my miracle story. I don't even remember if I did a show on it or not. But about my intention or prayer to find someone, with a cure or something for PKU.
Yes, you shared it on one of our shows, but
Yeah. And here it happened. And it came back to me 24 years later, but the universe really was very clear about, here it is, here's your miracle, see it, see it, see it. I mean, it took so long for it to manifest that the universe literally had to shake me and say, look, you did this.
Exactly. Yep, that was beautiful.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm wondering, do you have anything else? Otherwise, I think I'll pull one card.
Yep. Go ahead. Pull a card, and I can from my. They were so perfect today for my clients and myself. So let's see.
So we like to pull cards on this show because they're just simply fun. That's why.
And yes, and Sarah's got a beautiful sharing there in the chat too. Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah, no, this is going to be fun when this retrograde's over with. It was so challenging for me that all I could do was laugh.
Oh,
I had to laugh. I mean, I still had to walk through it and take care of things over and over and over. Finally, I did just put on, did stop. I'm like, I told the internet people, don't come back till the retrograde's over. And even the handyman, I'm like, nope, I'm not even calling you until this is over. It seems the only thing that's working out for me is giving things away. So I'm going to go with that.
That's beautiful. Yes. Yeah. And as we were talking, thinking about a few more days before we book more airline tickets.
Yeah, right.
So the card I pulled from the Elfin Quest is these beautiful ones with sigils. And what came for the group today is duty is a self-made whip we drive ourselves with when we have lost our passion. We rediscover our passion when we live our joy. They are two sides of one coin.
Well, isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Obviously, Patty's pulled this one for herself a few times. Miss Duty, Capricorn.
Well, you could put that one right on your desk so you don't forget about it. Right in front of
Okay.
you. Ah,
Mhm.
that Master Lanto. Ooh, Master Lanto's in the
Yeah.
bamboo here, hanging out in the bamboo. There we go, Master
Ah,
Lanta. Oh, it's
mhm,
green, and that's the problem. Okay.
mhm.
Okay, Master Lanto. I love Master Lanto. Ascended Master 5. Okay, here we go. Master Lanto, you are divinely inspired. How often do you have a wonderful idea or creation that comes to mind and do not act on it? Your soul is seeking to express its truth as illumination of all that is. To be fully illuminated is an expression of action in a world that is in constant motion. Your divine inspiration abounds at this time, and you are being supported to not hold back on bringing it into form. Take a moment and appreciate the sun. I did that today. We finally had sun.
Yeah.
Feel its warmth and appreciate that its presence creates food, shelter, shade, and more. Then begin to allow this illumination to radiate through you, and as you experience yourself as a divine creator, and from
Mhm.
this space, call forth your inspiration and delight in the reconnection that has been established.
How perfect. How perfect.
That sounds like the good ending to a retrograde, right? Right?
Agree.
After all that
Yep.
stuff is cleaned out, there's nothing but divine
Yeah.
inspiration behind it. It's the
Well,
balance that'll restore.
next next month we'll share all the goodness that we're seeing.
Yes, absolutely. All that's been created due to this hardship that we've gone through.
December was a challenge for a lot of us.
Yep.
Wow. Went through the ringer. But
Okay. Nope, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I have a pair of hummingbirds that literally come in my face on my patio here. They
Nice.
have been such a gift. Yeah.
They have. What colors are they?
It's like a green, one's greenish and one's a little more browny,
Yeah.
the one must be male and female. Yeah, with
Yeah.
some red underneath. But yeah, it's a pair, and they're just, I mean, literally, it will come right here in my face. So
Nice.
swimming with that energy right now too.
Yeah, love hummingbirds.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Great.
Well, Patty, if you do you have anything else to add before we
I
part
feel
for the day?
I feel complete.
Feel complete. Okay. Okay, everyone, we hope that you have a fabulous rest of your retrograde and post retrograde phase. And we got the Master Lanto card. So if you're watching this, you are divinely inspired. So I'm trusting that you're all going to go out there and use that inspiration to do
Yep.
great things.
Yep. Follow the passions and inspirations. Beautiful.
Namaste, everyone.
Namaste.